Are you sure about this? Are we really certain?
The divorce papers were supposed to arrive next Tuesday. Instead, I found my wife's sister living in our guest room with her 3 kids and a boyfriend I'd never met. That's when I knew Vanessa had officially lost her damn mind. "Jack, meet Derek," Vanessa said, stirring her morning coffee like she was announcing the weather. "He's staying with us for a while." Derek looked like he'd stepped out of a protein shake commercial, all muscles and teeth, wearing a tank top that said "Beast Mode" in our kitchen at 7 in the morning. He stuck out his hand with the kind of confidence that told me he'd already made himself comfortable in my house. "Hey man, thanks for letting us crash here. Vanessa's been so generous." I stared at his hand until he dropped it. "Generous with what exactly?" "Jack," Vanessa warned, that sharp edge creeping into her voice. "Don't start." "Don't start?" I'd been married to this woman for 22 years. I'd built my construction company from nothing, paid for this house, put our kids through school, and now I was supposed to smile while her unemployed sister's boyfriend called her generous with my hospitality? "How long is a while?" I asked. Derek shrugged. "A few months, maybe. Just until we get back on our feet." "We?" I looked around the kitchen. Vanessa's sister Monica was nowhere to be seen, but I could hear kids screaming upstairs. "How many people are we talking about here?" "Monica's going through a rough divorce," Vanessa said. "The kids need stability." "And Derek provides that stability?" Derek's smile faltered. "Look, I know this is awkward. You don't know anything." I grabbed my coffee mug and headed for the door. "I'll be at the job site." But I didn't go to the job site. I sat in my truck in the driveway, watching Derek through the kitchen window as he helped himself to my orange juice straight from the carton. Vanessa was laughing at something he said, touching his arm like they were old friends. That's when it hit me. The late nights, the new clothes, the way she'd been picking fights over nothing for months. Like she was trying to justify something. I pulled out my phone and called my foreman, Tom. "Handle the crew today. I've got a family emergency." "Everything okay, boss?" Define okay. Instead of driving to work, I went to the hardware store and bought a small recording device. Then I stopped at a pharmacy and picked up a pack of rubbers, the expensive kind, the ones Vanessa and I never used because she'd had her tubes tied years ago. When I got home, the house was quiet. Vanessa had left for work, and apparently Derek had taken the kids somewhere. I went upstairs to our bedroom and opened Vanessa's purse. Her wallet was there, along with her backup phone charger, some receipts, and a small bottle of perfume I'd never seen before. I slipped one rubber into the zippered compartment where she kept her emergency cash. Then I placed the recording device behind our bedroom dresser and activated it. If my wife was cheating, I was going to know about it. And if Derek was part of the problem, I was going to solve it. That evening, Vanessa came home with takeout Chinese food and a bottle of wine. "I thought we could have a nice dinner," she said. "Just the two of us. Where's Derek?" "He took Monica and the kids to Chuck E. Cheese." I watched her open the wine, noting how she'd done her hair, and put on makeup after work. "Vanessa, we need to talk." "About what?" "About the fact that you invited your sister's family to live here without asking me." She sighed. "I knew you'd react like this." "Like what?" "Like someone who pays the mortgage on this house? Like someone who thinks he owns everything and everyone in it." There it was, the accusation I'd been hearing more and more lately. According to Vanessa, I was controlling, possessive, old-fashioned. Never mind that I'd supported her career, encouraged her to go back to school, celebrated every promotion at her HR job. "I don't think I own you," I said carefully. "But I do think married couples should discuss major decisions together." "Major decisions?" she laughed. "It's my sister, Jack. Family helps family." "And Derek? Is he family too?" Something flickered in her eyes. "He makes Monica happy. Does he make you happy too?" The question hung in the air like smoke. Vanessa took a long sip of wine before answering. "I think you're being paranoid." "Am I?" She stood up abruptly. "I'm going to check on dinner." But she didn't go to the kitchen. She went upstairs, and I heard our bedroom door close. A few minutes later, I heard her talking on the phone, her voice low and urgent. I waited until she came back downstairs, then excused myself to use the bathroom. Instead, I checked the recording device. It had captured everything. Can't keep doing this. Jack's getting suspicious. I know, but it's complicated. No, not tonight. Derek's here with Monica. Derek. She was talking to someone named Derek, but not the Derek downstairs. This was a different Derek entirely. I sat on our bed staring at the device in my hand, feeling something cold settle in my stomach. 22 years of marriage, 2 kids, a life built together, brick by brick. And she was throwing it away for someone named Derek. When I came back downstairs, Vanessa was setting the table like nothing had happened. The lo main's getting cold, she said. I'm not hungry anymore. Jack, please, can't we just have a nice evening? I looked at my wife, really looked at her. The new perfume, the careful makeup, the wine. She wasn't trying to have a nice evening with me. She was practicing, getting ready for someone else. Sure, I said. Now let's have a nice evening. We ate in silence, making small talk about work and the weather. Vanessa told me about a problem employee she was dealing with, someone who'd been falsifying expense reports. What happens to people like that? I asked. They get fired. Usually we press charges too, depending on how much they stole. Seems fair. Actions have consequences. She nodded, not catching the irony. Exactly. After dinner, I helped her clean up, playing the role of the devoted husband, while my mind raced ahead to what came next. I needed more evidence. I needed to know who Derek was, how long this had been going on, and exactly what my wife thought she was going to do about it. I'm going to bed early, Vanessa said. It's a long day tomorrow. Me too. Big job starting Monday. She kissed my cheek, a perfunctory gesture that felt like a goodbye. I waited until I heard her breathing change, then slipped out of bed and went downstairs to my home office. I opened my laptop and started researching divorce attorneys. If Vanessa wanted her freedom, she was going to get it, but it would cost her everything. As I scrolled through legal websites, I heard footsteps upstairs. Vanessa was moving around, probably texting Derek number 2, planning their next meeting. Thinking she was so clever, she had no idea what was coming. I found him on Facebook within an hour. Derek Voss, 35, works at Morrison & Associates, the same marketing firm where Vanessa had been doing special projects for the past 6 months. His profile picture showed him at some trendy bar, arm around a blonde who wasn't my wife. Yet. But the photos told a different story. Derek at a company retreat, Vanessa visible in the background. Derek at a restaurant I recognized. The same place Vanessa claimed she'd had client dinners 3 times last month. Derek at a hotel bar, and there was my wife's reflection in the mirror behind him, holding up her phone to take the picture. They weren't even trying to be careful. I screenshotted everything and saved it to an encrypted folder on my laptop. Then, I did something that probably crossed a line, but I was past caring about lines. I created a fake Facebook profile, some stock photo of a middle-aged guy, generic name, minimal information, and sent Derek a friend request. While I waited for him to accept, I went through Vanessa's laptop. She'd left it open on the kitchen counter, probably figuring I was too much of a Neanderthal to snoop through her digital life. She was wrong about that, like she was wrong about a lot of things. Her email was a goldmine, hotel reservations, dinner receipts, a confirmation for a weekend spa trip that I definitely hadn't paid for. And buried in her sent folder, emails to Derek that made my stomach turn. Can't wait to be free of all this suburban BS. Jack doesn't suspect anything. Just need to figure out the logistics. Free of all this suburban BS. 22 years of marriage, reduced to suburban Bs. The logistics. Like I was a problem to be solved instead of a husband who'd loved her. I forwarded everything to my personal email, then cleared the browser history. By the time I was done, Derek had accepted my friend request. Amateur. Now I had access to his posts, his photos, his entire social media presence, including the pictures he'd posted just 2 hours ago. Him and Monica's boyfriend Derek at some sports bar across town, apparently bonding over beer and my wife's hospitality. So there were 2 Dereks after all. Derek the boyfriend and Derek the side piece. Vanessa was covering her affair by hiding it behind her sister's relationship drama. Brilliant, in a completely sociopathic way. I spent the next 3 hours building a timeline. The company retreat where they'd met. The first client dinner that turned into something else. The business trips that weren't business trips. The weekend spa getaway that happened during my fishing trip with Tom. She'd been planning this for months, maybe longer. Around 2 in the morning, I heard her phone buzz upstairs. Then again. Then a third time. I crept up the stairs and listened at our bedroom door. I can't talk now, she whispered. He's right here. I know, baby. I miss you too. Soon, okay? Just a few more weeks. A few more weeks until what? Until she filed for divorce? Until she moved out? Until she introduced Derek number 2 to our kids as their new stepdad? I went back downstairs and poured myself 3 fingers of bourbon. Then I called the one person I knew would be awake at this hour. Maddie's tap, we're closed. Maddie, it's Jack Callahan. Jack, Jesus, it's 2 in the morning. Everything okay? Maddie O'Brien had owned the local bar for 15 years. She knew everyone's business, heard all the gossip, and had a memory like a steel trap. If anyone would know about Vanessa and Derek, it would be Maddie. I need to ask you something, and I need you to be straight with me. Always am, honey. What's going on? Have you seen my wife around lately? Maybe with someone who isn't me? Long pause. Jack ... Just tell me. Another pause. She was here last Friday night with some guy from her office. They seemed close. How close? Close enough that I felt bad serving them. What did he look like? Tall, dark hair, fancy watch. Kept checking his phone and laughing at her jokes a little too hard. You know the type. I knew the type. Did they leave together? Jack, I don't think... Did they leave together? Yeah, they did. I closed my eyes. Thanks, Maddie. You want to talk about this? I can open up, make some coffee. Not tonight, but soon. I hung up and finished my bourbon. Then I went upstairs and climbed back into bed next to my cheating wife, who was sleeping peacefully after her late-night phone call with her boyfriend. But I didn't sleep. I lay there planning. Vanessa thought she was so smart, juggling 2 Dereks and a husband while plotting her escape from suburban BS. She thought I was just some dumb construction worker who wouldn't notice her new perfume or her late nights or her sudden interest in personal growth. She was about to learn how wrong she was. The next morning, I got up early and made breakfast. Pancakes, bacon, fresh coffee. Vanessa came downstairs looking surprised. What's the occasion? Can't a man make breakfast for his wife? She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Of course. This is nice. Monica and Derek number 1 appeared with the 3 kids, who immediately started fighting over the last pancake. I watched Derek help himself to coffee and orange juice, while Monica complained about her ex-husband's lawyer. He's trying to get custody, she said. Can you believe that? Like he's ever been a real father to these kids? Men can be such fools, Vanessa agreed, not looking at me. Present company excluded, Derek number 1 said with a grin. You're one of the good ones, Jack. Thanks, I said. I try to be. After breakfast, Vanessa left for work, kissing my cheek and telling me she'd be home late. Client dinner, she said. Of course. Monica took the kids to the park, leaving me alone with Derek number 1. He was sitting at my kitchen table, scrolling through his phone and eating my food like he owned the place. So, I said, refilling my coffee mug. Now, how long have you known Monica? About 8 months. We met at her yoga class. And you're unemployed? His jaw tightened. Between jobs. The economy's tough right now. What kind of work do you do? Sales, marketing, business development. Ah, I nodded like this meant something. Same field as Vanessa. Yeah, she's been really helpful. Giving me advice, making connections. She's a good person. She's something, all right. He looked up from his phone. Hey, you're lucky to have her, man. A woman like that, successful, independent, knows what she wants. Not everyone appreciates that. What do you mean? Just that some guys get intimidated by strong women. They try to hold them back, keep them small. But Vanessa, she's not the type to stay small forever. I set down my coffee mug carefully. Is that what she told you, that I'm holding her back? I didn't mean, because I supported her through college. Encouraged her to take the job at Morrison and Associates. Celebrated every promotion, every raise, every success. Derek shifted in his chair. Look, I don't know your marriage, man. I was just making conversation. Were you? We stared at each other across my kitchen table. He was bigger than me, younger, probably stronger. But I'd been in construction for 25 years. I knew how to handle men who thought they could intimidate me. I think there's been a misunderstanding, Derek said finally. I don't think there has. My phone rang, breaking the tension. It was Tom, calling about a problem at the job site. I answered it, keeping my eyes on Derek while I talked. Handle it, I told Tom. I'll be there in an hour. I hung up and looked at Derek again. I have to go to work. To support my family and pay for this house where you're staying for free. Jack, I appreciate. Do me a favor, I said, standing up. When you talk to Vanessa today, tell her I said hello. Tell her I'm thinking about her. Tell her I can't wait to see what she does next. Derek's face went pale. I don't know what you think. I think you know exactly what I think. I grabbed my keys and headed for the door, leaving Derek sitting at my table with his mouth open. Let him sweat. Let him call Vanessa and tell her that her husband was getting suspicious. Let them panic and make mistakes. Because I was just getting started. Tom Riley had been my foreman for 8 years, and in that time he'd seen me handle everything from crooked subcontractors to city inspectors on power trips, but he'd never seen me like this. Boss, you're scaring the crew, he said, watching me tear apart a badly installed drywall section with my bare hands. Maybe take a break? I'm fine. You ripped that stud out of the wall like it owed you money. I stopped and looked at the destruction around me. I'd been at the job site for 3 hours, working like a man possessed, channeling my rage into manual labor. The crew was giving me a wide berth. Tom, how long have you been married? 15 years next month. Why? Ever catch Linda cheating? He set down his hammer. Jesus, Jack, is that what this is about? Hypothetically, I'd probably end up in jail. But what if you wanted to stay out of jail? What if you wanted to be smart about it? Tom looked around to make sure no one was listening, then pulled me aside. You want my advice? Document everything. Get a good lawyer. Don't do anything stupid while you're angry. Define stupid. Anything that involves your fists, a baseball bat, or arson. I almost smiled. What about public humiliation? That's not stupid. That's justice. When I got home that evening, Derek number 1 was gone, but his stuff was still in the guest room. Monica was making dinner while her kids watched TV at volumes that could wake the dead. Where's Derek? I asked. He had some job interviews, Monica said. Should be back later. Good for him. Vanessa came home an hour later, looking flustered. She kissed my cheek, but I could smell cologne on her. Expensive cologne that I'd never worn. How was your client dinner? I asked. Fine, long, boring. Where'd you go? That new place downtown, Giovanni's. I nodded. Giovanni's was a 40-minute drive from our office, in the opposite direction from our house. An odd choice for a business dinner. Who was the client? Nobody you'd know. Small tech startup. What's their name? She paused just for a second. Synergy Solutions. I filed that away. Sounds promising. After dinner, I excused myself to my office and did a quick Google search. Synergy Solutions didn't exist. At least not in our city and not as a client of Morrison and Associates. Strike one, Vanessa. I checked Derek Voss's social media again. He'd posted a picture 2 hours ago from Giovanni's restaurant, tagged with great dinner meeting. No mention of who he was meeting with, but I could see a woman's hand reaching for a wine glass in the corner of the photo. The wedding ring was clearly visible. Strike 2. I was looking for strike 3 when my phone rang. Unknown number. Is this Jack Callahan? Who's asking? My name is Patricia Chen. I'm a private investigator. I think we need to talk. My blood went cold. Had Vanessa hired a PI to dig up dirt on me? Was this part of her exit strategy? About what? About your wife and Derek Voss. Can you meet me tomorrow morning? There's a diner on 5th Street called Murphy's, 8 a.m. How did you get my number? Mr. Callahan, I have photos, I have receipts, I have hotel records. Your wife hired me to investigate you, but what I found was much more interesting. She hung up before I could respond. I sat in my office, staring at the phone. Vanessa had hired a private investigator to spy on me. She was building a case, probably trying to prove I was abusive or unfaithful or financially irresponsible. Anything she could use to get a better settlement in the divorce. But the investigator had found evidence of Vanessa's affair instead. This was either very good news or very bad news. I wouldn't know which until tomorrow morning. I was about to close my laptop when I heard voices upstairs. Vanessa was on the phone again, but this time she wasn't whispering. I don't care if it's risky. We've been careful for months. I can't keep living like this. I crept upstairs and listened outside our bedroom door. The PI didn't find anything useful, she was saying. Jack's boring as hell. No affairs, no secret accounts, nothing we can use. I know, baby. But we have to be patient. Once the divorce is final, we can be together. I heard her moving around the room, probably pacing while she talked. Derek's being paranoid. He thinks Jack suspects something, but Jack's too stupid to put it together. No, I'm not being mean, I'm being realistic. The man thinks romance is bringing me coffee in bed. Too stupid to put it together. Romance is bringing coffee in bed. 22 years of marriage, and this was what my wife really thought of me. I have to go, she said suddenly. He's probably wondering where I am. I love you too. Soon, okay? Just a few more weeks. I made it back to my office before she came downstairs. Jack, you still working? Just finishing up some estimates. She appeared in the doorway, wearing a silk nightgown I'd bought her for our anniversary. The irony wasn't lost on me. Don't stay up too late, she said. I won't. She hesitated like she wanted to say something else, then turned and went back upstairs. I waited until I heard our bedroom door close, then opened a new document on my computer and started typing everything I'd learned. Dates, times, conversations, evidence. If Vanessa wanted to play games, I'd show her what a real game looked like. But first, I had a meeting with a private investigator. Murphy's Diner was the kind of place where truckers and construction workers grabbed coffee before dawn. Patricia Chen looked out of place in her business suit, sitting in a corner booth with a manila folder in front of her. Mr. Callahan? I slid into the seat across from her. You said you have photos. I do. But first, let me explain how this works. Your wife hired me 3 weeks ago to investigate your activities. She was particularly interested in your finances, your work relationships, and whether you were having an affair. And you're clean. Boring, but clean. You go to work, you come home, you pay your bills. The most exciting thing you do is have a beer with your foreman on Fridays. So why are we here? She opened the folder and slid a photograph across the table. It showed Vanessa and Derek Voss in a hotel lobby, his hand on her lower back, her leaning into him like they were lovers. Because while I was following you, I noticed your wife was doing some interesting things. So I started following her instead. More photos, Vanessa and Derek at dinner, Vanessa and Derek going into a hotel room, Vanessa and Derek leaving the hotel room 3 hours later. How long has this been going on? Based on what I've documented, at least 4 months. Probably longer. I studied the photos, feeling that cold rage settle deeper in my chest. What do you want? Your wife hired me to find dirt on you so she could get a better divorce settlement. Instead, I found dirt on her. I'm offering to sell you my services instead. How much? $5,000 for everything. Photos, video, hotel records, restaurant receipts, phone records. Everything you need to destroy her in court. It was a lot of money, but it was worth it. Deal. She slid the folder across the table. There's more where that came from. Your wife is sloppy, Mr. Callahan. She thinks she's being clever, but she's leaving a trail a blind man could follow. Any idea what her endgame is? From what I can tell, she's planning to file for divorce in the next few weeks. She'll claim irreconcilable differences, ask for spousal support, and half of everything. Derek Voss is planning to leave his job and move to California. My guess is they're planning to start over somewhere new, California. With my money and my kids. Not if I can help it, Patricia Chen smiled. I was hoping you'd say that. I drove home from Murphy's Diner with Patricia Chen's folder on the passenger seat, feeling like I was carrying dynamite. $5,000 for enough evidence to bury Vanessa in divorce court. Money well spent. But as I pulled into my driveway, I realized I wasn't ready to blow everything up yet. I wanted to watch Vanessa dig her grave a little deeper first. I wanted her to feel confident, secure in her deception, right up until the moment I pulled the rug out from under her. Derek number 1 was loading boxes into a pickup truck when I got out of my car. Moving out? I asked. Yeah, Monica found an apartment across town. We figured you and Vanessa probably want your space back. Thoughtful. He paused, a box of kids' clothes in his arms. Look, Jack, about yesterday. I think we got off on the wrong foot. Did we? I don't want there to be any hard feelings. Monica's been through hell with her divorce, and Vanessa's been incredible, really supportive. I just want you to know how much we appreciate everything you've done. I studied his face. He seemed sincere, which meant he probably wasn't part of Vanessa's deception. He was just collateral damage, a convenient cover story that let my wife hide her affair behind family drama. No hard feelings, I said. Really? Really. Good luck with the new place. He smiled with relief. Thanks, man. You're a good guy. If only he knew. Monica appeared with the last of their belongings, her 3 kids trailing behind her like ducklings. She hugged me goodbye, thanking me for my hospitality, while her children destroyed my lawn with their farewell tantrum. Tell Vanessa I'll call her later, Monica said. We need to plan girls' night for next weekend. Girls' night? Yeah, she didn't tell you? We're going to that new wine bar downtown. Just the sisters, you know? Some quality bonding time. I nodded, filing away another lie. Vanessa hadn't mentioned girls' night, which meant girls' night was probably code for another rendezvous with Derek Voss. After they left, I went inside and found Vanessa in the kitchen, looking relieved. Thank God, she said. I'd love Monica, but 3 kids under 10, I was going crazy. They seemed sweet. Sweet? They put crayon marks on our dining room wall and broke 2 of my good wine glasses. I looked around the kitchen, noting how clean it was, how peaceful. Well, now it's just us again. Something flickered in her eyes. Yeah, just us. We should celebrate. How about dinner out tonight? Somewhere nice? I can't. I have plans. What kind of plans? Work stuff? Team building exercise. Another lie. I was starting to lose count. Rain check then, eh? Sure. She kissed my cheek and went upstairs to get ready for her work stuff. I waited until I heard the shower running, then called the number Patricia Chen had given me. I need you to follow my wife tonight, I said. She's meeting Derek Voss somewhere. Probably dinner in a hotel. You want photos? I want everything. Consider it done. Vanessa came downstairs an hour later, dressed to eliminate in a black dress I'd never seen before. She'd done her hair, put on makeup, and was wearing perfume that cost more than most people's car payments. You look beautiful, I said. Thanks. She checked her reflection in the hallway mirror, adjusting her earrings. Don't wait up. These team-building things usually run late. Have fun. She grabbed her purse and keys, pausing at the door. Jack? Yeah. Are we okay? You've been acting strange lately. I looked at my wife, standing in our doorway, about to leave for a date with another man while asking if we were okay. We're fine, I said. Just tired from all the house guests. That's what I figured, she smiled. I love you. I love you too. She left and I sat in my empty house listening to the silence. Then I opened Patricia Chen's folder and started studying the evidence. 2 hours later, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Patricia Chen. Fairmont Hotel, room 412. They ordered room service, champagne and strawberries. I have photos. I stared at the message, feeling something cold and final settle in my chest. Champagne and strawberries. Like they were celebrating something. Maybe they were celebrating the end of my marriage. Maybe they were toasting their future together in California. Maybe they were just enjoying the thrill of sneaking around behind the stupid husband's back. It didn't matter. What mattered was that I now had enough evidence to destroy Vanessa in divorce court. What mattered was that she'd lied to my face one too many times. What mattered was that the game was about to change. I poured myself a bourbon and called my lawyer. Rebecca Drake speaking. Ms. Drake, this is Jack Callahan. I need to file for divorce. I see. When would you like to schedule a consultation? Tomorrow morning. And Ms. Drake? I want to take her for everything. Rebecca Drake's office looked like a battlefield command center. Law books lined the walls like ammunition, and her desk was covered with files that represented the wreckage of other people's marriages. She was exactly what I needed. Smart, ruthless, and expensive. Tell me about your wife, she said, opening a fresh legal pad. I slid Patricia Chen's folder across her desk. Everything you need is in there. Rebecca flipped through the photos, her expression never changing. She'd seen it all before. How long have you been married? 22 years. Children? 2. Danny's 19, freshman at State. Riley's 18, senior in high school. Assets? The house is worth about $400,000. My construction company is worth maybe $600,000 on paper. Retirement accounts, savings, probably another $200,000 total. She made notes. And your wife works? HR director at Morrison and Associates. Makes about $80,000 a year. The same company where Mr. Voss works? Used to work. I'm pretty sure he's been fired. Rebecca raised an eyebrow. How do you know that? I told her about Patricia Chen's investigation, about the hotel receipts and restaurant bills, about Vanessa's lies and Derek's sudden unemployment. Interesting, Rebecca said. Your wife may have violated her company's ethics policy. That could affect spousal support calculations. What are my chances? With this evidence? Excellent. Infidelity doesn't carry the weight it used to in divorce proceedings, but it still matters, especially when there's financial misconduct involved. Financial misconduct? Hotel bills, expensive dinners, gifts. If she used marital assets to fund her affair, we can go after her for that. I felt a grim satisfaction. What's the next step? We file papers this afternoon. She'll be served tomorrow morning at work. At work? Rebecca smiled. Public service is always more effective. It sends a message. What kind of message? That you're not the naive husband she thinks you are. I left Rebecca's office feeling like I just loaded a tool. Vanessa had no idea what was coming. She thought she was playing chess while I was playing checkers. But she was about to learn that I'd been playing chess all along. That evening, Vanessa came home late again, claiming she'd been at another work event. She was glowing, practically floating through the house like a woman in love. Good day? I asked. Great day. Really productive. Productive how? Just work stuff. Boring HR things. She went upstairs to shower, humming to herself. I could hear her singing in the bathroom, something she hadn't done in months. She was happy. Genuinely, radiantly happy. It almost made me feel bad about what was going to happen tomorrow. Almost. My phone rang around 10 p.m. It was Danny calling from college. Hey, Dad, how's everything at home? Fine, son. How are your classes? Good. Listen, I talked to Mom earlier, and she seemed weird. Like really happy, but also nervous. Is everything okay? I closed my eyes. Even Danny could sense that something was wrong. Your mother's going through some changes, I said carefully. What kind of changes? Adult stuff, nothing for you to worry about. Dad, I'm not a kid anymore. If something's happening, I want to know. I looked upstairs, where Vanessa was still singing in the shower, probably thinking about Derek Voss and their bright future together. Your mother and I are having some problems, I said finally. Long pause. Like, divorce problems? Maybe. Jesus, is there someone else? My son was sharper than I'd given him credit for. Why would you ask that? Because Mom's been acting weird for months. New clothes, new perfume, always on her phone. And she asked me a bunch of strange questions about custody laws when I was home for spring break. Custody laws. So Vanessa had been planning this for even longer than I'd thought. Danny, I need you to stay focused on school right now. Whatever happens between your mother and me, it's not your fault, and it's not your responsibility to fix it. But Dad, promise me. Okay, I promise. But Dad, if she's cheating on you, I'm on your side. I appreciate that, son. After I hung up, I sat in my office, thinking about custody laws and college tuition and how divorce was going to affect my kids. Danny was old enough to choose which parent he wanted to live with, but Riley was still in high school. This was going to get complicated. Vanessa came downstairs in her silk pajamas, looking relaxed and content. Who was on the phone? Danny. He says hi. How's he doing? Fine. Worried about his parents' marriage. She froze. What did you tell him? That we're having some problems. Jack, we agreed not to involve the kids. When did we agree on that? I just think they don't need to know about our private issues. Our private issues. Like her affair with Derek Voss was just a minor disagreement about household chores. You're right, I said. Then they'll find out soon enough. Find out what? I looked at my wife, standing in our living room in pajamas I'd bought her, asking me what our children were going to find out about her betrayal. Nothing, I said. Forget I said anything. She studied my face, looking for clues. Jack, you're scaring me. What's going on? I'm tired, Vanessa. I'm going to bed. I brushed past her and went upstairs, leaving her standing in the living room with a confused expression on her face. Let her wonder. Let her worry. Let her spend the night trying to figure out what I knew and when I'd learned it. Because tomorrow morning, she was going to get her answers. I was drinking coffee in my kitchen when my phone rang at 9:47 a.m. Jack, what the hell is this? Vanessa's voice was shaking with rage and something else. Fear, maybe, or panic. What's what? The divorce papers, the process server, at my office, in front of everyone. I took another sip of coffee. No, that. Oh, that. Are you insane? Do you have any idea what you've done? I filed for divorce. It seemed like the logical next step. Without talking to me, without trying to work things out, I almost laughed. Work things out? Like you worked things out with Derek Voss? Silence. Long, heavy silence. I don't know what you think. I think you've been screwing your coworker for 4 months. I think you hired a private investigator to dig up dirt on me. I think you've been planning to divorce me and take half of everything I've worked for. More silence. Jack, I can explain. No need. My lawyer has photos, hotel receipts, restaurant bills, phone records, everything. I heard her breathing change. You had me followed? Actually, you had me followed. But your PI was more interested in what you were doing than what I was doing. Patricia Chen, smart woman, very thorough. Jack, please. Can we talk about this? In person? I don't think so. I'm coming home. I wouldn't recommend that. I'm not feeling very friendly right now. It's my house, too. Actually, it's not. Check the papers. I'm claiming sole ownership based on your infidelity and financial misconduct. She started crying then, big dramatic sobs that might have moved me 6 months ago. Now they just sounded like manipulation. Jack, please, I made a mistake. It doesn't have to end like this. A mistake? Which part was the mistake, Vanessa? Sleeping with Derek? Lying to me for months? Planning to take my kids to California or getting caught? How did you know about California? I know everything. I hung up and turned off my phone. Then I called Rebecca Drake. She's been served, I said. How did she take it? About as well as you'd expect. She's probably calling her own lawyer right now. Good. Let her scramble. We have the high ground. An hour later, someone started pounding on my front door. I looked through the peephole and saw Derek Voss, looking like he'd slept in his car. I opened the door but left the chain lock engaged. We need to talk, he said. No, we don't. You don't understand. This isn't what it looks like. It looks like you've been screwing my wife in hotel rooms while I paid your girlfriend's rent. His face went red. That's not... Look, Vanessa and I, we didn't plan this. It just happened. Nothing just happens, Derek. You made choices. She made choices. Now you get to live with the consequences. She loves me. She loved me too, for 22 years. How'd that work out? I started to close the door, but he put his foot in the gap. Don't do this to her, he said, and she's a good person. Good people don't cheat on their husbands. You don't know what your marriage was really like. She was miserable, Jack. You made her feel trapped, suffocated. I stared at him through the crack in the door. Is that what she told you? She told me everything. How you controlled her money, monitored her activities, made her feel guilty for having friends. And you believed her? Why would she lie? I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. Derek, let me give you some free advice. When a married woman tells you her husband is controlling and abusive, she's not confiding in you. She's justifying her decision to cheat. You're not her savior. You're her excuse? That's not true. Ask yourself this. If I'm such a terrible husband, why did she stay married to me for 22 years? Why didn't she just leave? He didn't have an answer for that. Here's another question. If she'll cheat on me, what makes you think she won't cheat on you? Because I'm not you. I removed the chain and opened the door fully, stepping onto my porch. Derek was taller than me, but he took a step backward. You're right, I said. You're not me. I built a business from nothing. I own my house. I put 2 kids through school. I supported my wife's career for 2 decades. What have you done, Derek? Besides lose your job and wreck my marriage. I didn't wreck anything. Your marriage was already over. Was it? Because until 4 months ago, Vanessa and I were doing fine. We had problems, sure. Every marriage has problems. But we were working through them until you showed up. She was unhappy. She was bored. There's a difference. I stepped closer to him. Derek, I want you to listen very carefully. My wife chose to have an affair. That's on her. But you chose to pursue a married woman. That's on you. And now you both get to deal with the consequences. What consequences? Vanessa's going to lose half her retirement account, probably her job, and custody of her daughter. You've already lost your job and your reputation. What else do you think is going to happen? You can't prove anything. I pulled out my phone and showed him one of Patricia Chen's photos. Him and Vanessa in a hotel lobby, his hand on her A. Can't I? His face went white. Derek, here's what's going to happen. You're going to get in your car and drive away. You're going to leave my wife alone. You're going to find a new job in a new city and start over. And if I ever see you near my family again, I'm going to make your life very, very difficult. You can't threaten me. I'm not threatening you. I'm educating you. There's a difference. I went back inside and locked the door, leaving Derek standing on my porch. Through the window, I watched him get in his car and drive away. My phone started ringing again. Vanessa, probably. Or maybe Rebecca Drake with an update. Or possibly Riley, wondering why her mother was crying at work. I didn't answer it. Instead, I poured myself another cup of coffee and sat down to wait for whatever came next. Because this was just the beginning. Riley came home from school that afternoon with red eyes and a furious expression. Mom called me, she said, dropping her backpack by the door. I hear she's crying at Grandma's house, saying you're trying to destroy her life. Is that what she said? She said you hired spies to follow her. She said you're lying about her having an affair. She said you're doing this because you're jealous of her success. I looked at my daughter, 18 years old, and caught in the middle of her parents' war. She had Vanessa's eyes but my stubborn chin, and right now she looked like she wanted to punch someone. What do you think? I asked. I think this is screwed up. Language. Seriously? You're going to lecture me about language while you're divorcing Mom? She had a point. Sit down, Riley. We need to talk. I don't want to talk. I want you to fix this. I can't fix this. Why not? People work through problems. They go to counseling. They don't just give up. I studied my daughter's face, seeing so much of myself in her anger and so much of her mother in her refusal to accept hard truths. Riley, what would you do if you found out someone you trusted had been lying to you for months? I'd ask them why. And if their answer wasn't good enough, I'd give them another chance. What if they'd already had 22 years of chances? She crossed her arms. Her mom said you never tried to understand her. She said you just assumed the worst. Did she tell you about Derek Voss? Riley's expression flickered. She said he was just a friend. Do you have hotel receipts with any of your friends? That's different. How? Because. She stopped, struggling to find an argument that made sense. Because you're supposed to fight for your marriage. I did fight for it. For 22 years. But you can't fight alone. My phone rang. Danny, calling from college. Dad, what the hell's going on? Mom just called me sobbing about divorce papers and private investigators. Your mother and I are getting divorced. Because she's having an affair? Riley's eyes went wide. She could only hear my side of the conversation, but she was smart enough to fill in the blanks. Yes. Jesus Christ. How long has this been going on? A few months, maybe longer. And you're sure? Like, absolutely sure. I have photos, Danny. Long pause. Damn. Language, I said automatically. Dad, this is not a language situation. This is a my mother is a cheating hooker situation. Riley made a strangled sound and ran upstairs. I heard her bedroom door slam. Your sister's here, I told Danny. She's not taking this well. Is she blaming you? Right now, yeah. Want me to come home? Numbers stay in school. This will sort itself out. Dad, I'm sorry. This sucks. Yeah, it does. After I hung up, I went upstairs and knocked on Riley's door. Go away. Riley, we need to finish talking. There's nothing to talk about. You've already decided to destroy our family. I didn't destroy anything. Your mother did that when she decided to cheat. She made a mistake. She made a choice. Every day for 4 months, she chose to lie to me. She chose to meet Derek at hotels. She chose to plan a future without me. You don't know that. I went to my office and came back with one of Patricia Chen's photos. I slid it under Riley's door. Yes, I do. Silence. Then, the sound of paper rustling. Then a sharp intake of breath. Riley? This doesn't mean anything. Maybe they were just talking. In a hotel room? For 3 hours? More silence. Honey, I know this is hard. I know you want to believe your mother is innocent. But she's not. The door opened. Riley stood there with tears streaming down her face, holding the photograph. Why? She whispered. I don't know. Were you a bad husband? The question hit me like a punch to the gut. I tried not to be. Did you make her unhappy? Sometimes. Marriage is hard, Riley. People make each other unhappy sometimes, but that doesn't justify cheating. What's going to happen now? We're going to get divorced. You and Danny will have to choose which parent you want to live with. The house will probably be sold. Everything's going to change. She sat down on her bed, still holding the photograph. I hate her. Don't hate her. She's still your mother. How can you say that after what she did? Because hating her won't change anything. It'll just make you miserable. Aren't you angry? Furious? Then why aren't you yelling? Why aren't you breaking things? I sat down next to her on the bed. Because being angry doesn't mean being stupid. Your mother made her choices. Now I'm making mine. What choices? To protect myself, to protect you and Danny, to make sure she doesn't get to rewrite history and make me the villain. Riley leaned against me, something she hadn't done in years. I'm scared, Dad. Me too, honey. Me too. We sat there for a while, not talking, just processing the wreckage of our family. Then Riley's phone buzzed with a text message. It's Mom, she said. She wants to see me. Do you want to see her? I don't know. Maybe. Yes. I'm confused. That's okay. You don't have to choose sides right now. But I do, don't I? In the divorce, I mean. I have to choose which parent to live with. Eventually, yes. What if I choose wrong? There's no wrong choice, Riley. Your mother loves you even if she made terrible decisions about our marriage. I love you too. Whoever you choose, the other parent will still be in your life. Promise? Promise. She hugged me then, fierce and tight, like she was afraid I might disappear. Dad? Yeah? I choose you. I closed my eyes and held my daughter, feeling something break and heal in my chest at the same time. One down, one to go. The next morning, I woke up to find Vanessa sitting in my kitchen. She looked terrible. Her hair was unwashed, her makeup was smeared, and she was wearing the same clothes she'd had on yesterday. She'd obviously been crying for hours. How did you get in? I still have a key. She held up her coffee mug with shaking hands. We need to talk. I don't think we do. Jack, please, 5 minutes. I poured myself coffee and sat down across from her, noting how she wouldn't meet my eyes. Talk. I'm sorry. For which part? All of it. Derek, the lying, the PI. Everything. Okay. That's it? Just okay. What do you want me to say, Vanessa? That I forgive you? That we can work it out? That I'll pretend the last 4 months never happened? I want you to fight for us. I did fight for us. While you were planning your exit strategy, I was trying to save our marriage. While you were screwing Derek Voss in hotel rooms, I was bringing you coffee in bed. While you were telling him how miserable I made you, I was defending you to everyone who said you were acting strange. She flinched. I never said you made me miserable. Derek seemed to think you did. Derek doesn't know anything. He knew enough to sleep with you. She started crying again, big, theatrical sobs that echoed through the kitchen. Jack, I made a mistake. Shit, a terrible, stupid mistake, but it's over. I ended it. I told Derek I can't see him anymore. When? Yesterday, after you served me with papers. I called him and told him it was over. And he was okay with that? He was upset, but he understood. I almost laughed. Vanessa, Derek came here yesterday. He begged me not to divorce you. He said you loved him. He said you were planning a future together. Her face went white. He came here, right after you called me crying about the divorce papers. What did he say? That you were miserable with me, that I was controlling and abusive, that you deserved better. I never said you were abusive, but you did say I was controlling. You did tell him you were miserable. You did make me the villain in your love story. She couldn't argue with that. Now, Vanessa, here's what I don't understand. If you wanted out of our marriage, why didn't you just leave? Why the elaborate deception? Why the affair? Because I was scared. Of what? Of being alone, of starting over, of admitting I'd wasted 22 years of my life. So you decided to waste them anyway, just differently? I thought maybe I could have both. You for security, Derek for excitement. And when that didn't work, I was going to choose Derek. At least she was being honest now. And the kids? I thought they'd understand eventually. Understand that their mother abandoned their father for a younger man. Understand that people grow apart. That sometimes love isn't enough. I stared at my wife across our kitchen table, wondering when she'd become a stranger to me. Love was enough, Vanessa. For 22 years, it was enough. You just decided you wanted something else. I wanted to feel alive again. And now I feel like I'm dying. She reached across the table and took my hand. Hers was cold and trembling. Jack, please, can we try counseling? Can we try to work through this? No. Why not? Because I don't trust you anymore. Because every time you're 5 minutes late, I'll wonder if you're with someone else. Because every time your phone rings, I'll wonder if it's another Derek. Because you didn't just cheat on me, Vanessa. You planned to leave me. You hired a PI to dig up dirt on me. You were ready to take my kids and half my assets and start over with someone else. I changed my mind. Only because you got caught. She couldn't argue with that either. What about Riley? She needs her mother. Riley chose to live with me. Vanessa's face crumpled. She what? She saw the photos. She knows the truth. She's 18, Vanessa. Old enough to make her own decisions. You poisoned her against me. I showed her evidence. There's a difference. She's my daughter. She's our daughter. And she's disgusted by what you did. Vanessa stood up abruptly, knocking over her coffee mug. This isn't over, Jack. I won't let you turn my children against me. I didn't turn them against you. You did that yourself. She grabbed her purse and headed for the door, then turned back. You'll regret this. When you're sitting alone in this house, growing old by yourself, you'll regret throwing away 22 years over one mistake. Maybe. But I'll regret staying with a cheater even more. She slammed the door on her way out, and I sat in my kitchen, surrounded by the wreckage of our conversation and the bitter smell of spilled coffee. My phone rang. Rebecca Drake. How are you holding up? I've been better. Vanessa's lawyer called. They want to negotiate. What kind of negotiation? Full confession of infidelity in exchange for a more favorable asset split. Meaning? She keeps her retirement account and gets limited spousal support. You keep the house and the business. And custody? Joint legal custody, but Riley lives with you. Danny's old enough to choose for himself. It was a better deal than I'd expected. What's the catch? No catch. She knows she's screwed. The infidelity evidence is overwhelming and she can't afford a long court battle. When do we sign? Next week, if you agree to the terms. I thought about it. The house, the business, my daughter, and freedom from a woman who'd betrayed me in the worst possible way. I agree. Good. Jack? Yeah. You did the right thing. After I hung up, I walked through my house, seeing it with new eyes. It would be quiet now. Peaceful. No more lies, no more deception, no more wondering if my wife was where she said she was. Just me and Riley figuring out how to be a family of two. It wasn't the life I'd planned, but it was better than the life I'd been living. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. This is Derek. I'm sorry about everything. Vanessa and I are moving to California next month. I wanted you to know we won't contact Riley or Danny. I stared at the message for a long time, then typed back, good luck. You're going to need it. Because if Vanessa could cheat on a husband who loved her for 22 years, she could cheat on anyone. Derek would learn that lesson eventually, but that would be his problem, not mine. Epilogue. 6 months later, I was grilling steaks in my backyard when Riley came outside with 2 beers. Dad, there's someone here to see you. I looked toward the house and saw a woman I didn't recognize standing on my back porch. She was attractive, maybe 40, with kind eyes and a nervous smile. I'm Sarah Mitchell, she said. I work with your lawyer, Rebecca Drake. She thought we should meet. Why's that? Because I'm going through a divorce, too. My husband was cheating with his secretary. Riley rolled her eyes and went back inside, muttering something about Dad's fan club. I'm not really dating right now, I said. I'm not asking you to date me. I'm asking if you want to have dinner sometime with another adult who understands what you've been through. I considered this. It had been 6 months since Vanessa moved to California with Derek. 6 months of learning how to be single again, how to raise a teenage daughter alone, how to trust my own judgment about people. Just dinner? Just dinner. Okay. She smiled. Great. How about Saturday? Saturday works. After she left, Riley came back outside. She seems nice. She does. Better than Mom's boyfriend. I'd heard through mutual friends that things weren't going well between Vanessa and Derek in California. Apparently, Derek was having trouble finding work, and Vanessa was struggling with the reality of starting over at 40. I felt bad for her sometimes, but not bad enough to regret my decision. Dad? Yeah, I'm proud of you. For what? For not taking her back. For showing me that people should have standards. I looked at my daughter, who'd grown up a lot in the past 6 months, who'd learned some hard lessons about love and betrayal and consequences. And then, thanks, kiddo. Besides, she said, grinning, Sarah seems way cooler than Mom ever was. Maybe she was right. Maybe she wasn't. But I was ready to find out. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't destruction. Sometimes it's just living well.